Episode 165, Above Ground Podcast. Pull Me Under.
Disclaimer. The hosts of this podcast, Timothy Patrick and Will Foley, are by no means medical professionals. However, having lived experience with mental illness themselves, they have gained useful perspectives on common mental health issues that some of us struggle to overcome on a daily basis. By sharing their stories, they hope to create connection. By creating connection, they hope to help you find your purpose. And through purpose, we can all begin to build the foundation for positive mental health. This is Above Ground Podcast.
Coming at you live with real conversations about mental health from the perspective. It's time for Above Ground Podcast. Now your hosts, TPP and Will Foley.
Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of
Above Ground Podcast.
Thanks for joining us.
What's up, Timmy?
What's up, Will?
Hey, man. Another week.
Another
week, another episode.
Another week, another episode.
You know, what are we talking about this week, man?
I don't know.
Pull me under. Pull me under.
Pull me under.
Pull me under. I'm not afraid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy 30th anniversary to that record. Thank you, Kevin, for telling us that. That's a nice little trivia thing for that.
I don't even know what is the name of the record.
Shit.
That's right. Images and words.
That's right. Images and words. Something that are very important to all of us.
See that?
Images and words.
Yeah.
Images of ourselves, what we think of ourselves, how we look at ourselves.
How we talk to ourselves.
How we talk to ourselves. That's right. The words, how we talk to others. But pull me under. What's going on there? What's all that about?
You know, I had the idea when I was kind of shitting on myself and just I kind of felt like I was drowning a bit.
Okay.
So it has a little bit of a dark tendency, but we don't have to go that route.
It does. Dude, look. We all fucking feel like we're drowning from time to time.
You know, so I didn't really elaborate on it, but I was like, I'm just going to put this down because it was.
Was it triggering?
No, it just got in my head, and I was like.
So it was triggering. It was triggering something.
Yeah. Yes. That's true.
You know, I mean, that's what a trigger is.
Yeah. No, you're right. It did. It did something. Yeah, it did. It triggered something, and what's the word I want to use? Like I don't know. Not a standstill, but just like a resistance.
Resistance. Go figure. There you go. Resistance.
I knew you'd like that one. Yeah, there was just a strong feeling of resistance from like every angle. So it was just like, I don't know.
I gotta say, a lot of times we get pulled under because we resist. It's a fact. Like a lot of people drown because they don't give themselves to the water.
Right.
Because if you lay in the water and you stick your whole body into the water, face and all, you actually float. Where if you fight, it causes you to go under. So
a lot of our resistance.
A lot of our resistance causes our drowning. And I think a lot of our resistance causes a lot of our problems. But sometimes those problems are easier to handle when you resist certain things at times. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
You know, I think what another thing that I wrote down when I was thinking about this was, I guess, sort of the effect maybe that we have on others, or even others have on us, as far as like if you were struggling and I was to help you, like, or to, you know, to make an effort to, you know, see what's going on, sort of thing. And would that pull me under as well? Like, would we both get pulled under?
Well, here's the thing, though. And I looked at your notes, or the note that we had there for this, and sure, it could if you're not in a good spot.
Right.
Could. However, using me and you as the example is hard because you and I have more vested together
True.
than
Right.
most average
Yeah,
people
just
do
used.
with their buddies or friends or whatever. Now,
Right.
I'm not saying that you don't have things vested, but when it comes to, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff, yes, we kind of hang around the same popcorn machines when it comes to this kind of stuff. And
Popcorn.
popcorn. And I'm hungry, I think. And so, and again, like for me, myself, I don't like, I've also realized now that sometimes I don't want other people's input. Because unfortunately, most of the input that you get from somebody else is their experience.
Sure.
And
it's true.
Yes, there's good things about the experience, but yet there's a lot of negative stuff about the experience too that you can absorb. I do think though, and when you wrote that about pulling, can someone else go down? I equate it to us and our shit pulling somebody else down.
Yeah.
Because
that's kind of what I was actually talking about.
And I mean, and I'm not talking about people that are going to help you. I'm talking about pulling everybody else down with you. And I do think, and yes, I do think that, yes, you can bring others down with you. Absolutely. Now, whether they go down with you or not is their choice.
Sure. Do you think that the person, let me say, like, I'm wondering if sometimes it's not intentional of the person that's like maybe like in the bad place that is pulling people down. Do you think it's intentional or not intentional?
I think depends on the person. Yeah. Okay. Not always intentional. But there are people who use that to intently cause harm,
right?
Cause damage, and again, maybe it's called gaslighting. You know what I mean? Maybe that's, and that to me. So, but again, like you know, you can affect every situation, and you can affect it positively or negatively.
Right.
Unfortunately, though, like it kind of plays into all those neuroses because okay, you're feeling negative, so you don't want to be around anybody, so you isolate. But then does that isolation become avoidance? And are you avoiding things because you just don't want to do them? Are you avoiding things to protect yourself? Or are you avoiding things to protect your little,
your
little, I don't want to do this because it's all too hard.
I think it's all, I think they're pretty much interconnected, all those things. They're like kissing cousins.
No, they're not.
No?
They're not, no. I don't think that they are. I think that there's... because you don't need to do any of those things.
No, but I think if you choose one of them, I think it's going to basically bring the rest of them are going to be like right behind them. I think you can like...
Is it though? Is it? I mean, is choosing one going to bring all the rest?
It could, yeah. Yeah. If you choose isolation, okay, then...
Yeah, but what if you're choosing isolation, and we go back to 163 about habits, but what if you choose isolation and... In the meantime of that isolation, you've created a masterpiece or whatever it is that you're doing.
That's fine.
Is that avoidance or is that character building?
Well,
and goal setting.
Well, technically, it's still avoidance. It would be goal setting if that was your goal. If your goal is to isolate yourself and write a book, if you're isolating yourself to write a song, then that's fine. But if you're
isolating yourself to get better?
Which is fine. Yeah. But I don't know, and again, habits, everyone's different. I don't know if isolating yourself to get better is a positive, sustainable thing. That's the only thing I'm saying. Because I do it. I need to.
I don't think it's sustainable.
Though. I know I'm mindful of, like, I need to unplug. You know, too much work, too much this. I can't multitask, and I just feel it in my body tense up, and I'm like, I just need to fucking turn my phone off and not talk to anybody, not do anything, and that is what I want to do. Like, I'm setting the intention to not do anything. That's what I'm going to do. Nothing, because it's just freeing. It's just for me. That's me personally, you know. But if you if you get caught up in that, and then a week later you're still isolating, sometimes you don't even realize it. That's when, again, I think it's just that start of that spiral. And then
does it matter though if you do realize it? Does that change it if you realize it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because if you realize it, you can.
Yeah, but what if you realize it and still choose to isolate?
If that's your choice, then that's fine. That's your choice.
Even if it's not healthy.
Yeah. What are you going to do? You can't force someone to, you can work towards saying like, hey, I care about you. This may not be a positive way. There's other ways that you could try, a therapist or something like that. There's other ways, at least be open to them. That's it. But at the end of the day, that'd be my task. Like my task is to say what I just said. Now it's your task to either, listen to what I said and maybe take some of it and look into it, or to be like, fuck him, I'm going to isolate. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it.
Isolate.
But it's like
I'm just joking.
I think going back to what I said, like it's that start. Once you start to isolate, you could be comfortable with it. And then when you're like, okay, now I'm isolating longer, now I'm avoiding other things because I want to isolate. Right? So it's like it's a one of those dichotomy things, I guess.
Yeah, I
Is
can
that the
see
right
that.
word?
Is it a dichotomy? Yeah, maybe.
Because you want to, like, again, if you want to isolate and you're mindful of it, and you can just go, you know what, I'm going to unplug for 24 hours. Tomorrow's a new day. Whatever. Okay. But you do it, and then you're like, oh, I'm not really feeling it. I'm going to call out sick to work. I'm going to just sit here. I'm not going to get out of bed. And then you're like, wow, that kind of felt pretty good. I'm going to do it again.
But, well, here's the question, though, and now this kind of brings this to the point. There's nothing wrong with taking yourself out of the equation for a while and trying to recharge your batteries.
Right.
But when does it become a problem? Because you may recognize the fact that you need a day. But what happens, and then you said it, then the next day you do it.
Right.
And then it becomes a cycle. But what happens, like, is that cycle necessarily wrong? If the person's realized that they're not, because that's the thing. It's like, when do you trust yourself enough to know that you're isolating to get out of isolation?
Well, I think that's to kind of go off what you said. I think it becomes wrong or more of a negative coping thing. It becomes that when you realize it and don't do anything further, or you just continue to let it go on for weeks. Because like you said, hey, take 2 days. Take them. Need them. Right? Go ahead. That's fine. But after that, if you're not seeing any kind of difference from those 2 days, in reality, think about it. What's an extra 2-3 days going to do? You think the extra 2-3 days is going to work? I mean, I'm just saying.
I can tell you right now, I'd love to lock myself in a room for a fucking month.
Okay, but do you honestly feel like it would be a positive thing? It would be conducive to wellness for you?
I'm not sure. I don't really know.
That's fair.
Because I can tell you this. A week, like taking a week, even just to be by myself, wouldn't be enough. Like, it just wouldn't. I would come back probably just as angst-ridden as I left.
That's okay.
And then the problem with that is, like, we've discussed this before. So, like, that adage about bringing the ocean back,
right,
when I go to the ocean, which isn't happening this year. And not that that's the necessary problem. It's just that I don't know if it would be beneficial anyway. I don't think I would bring it back with me. I just don't, even though I'm craving it. I really am.
See, I think it goes back to that thing where it's like the days that you don't want.
So let's stay on topic.
All right.
And I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it went with it, but go ahead.
How do we know we're under?
You had to ask that one.
Well, I had to because I mean, I kind of
know.
got off top, and
No,
that was not my intent.
It's okay.
Because it had the right. It had, we were making the pizza, and the pizza dough seemed to be going good, and then we dropped the fucking
flipping
shit
the
on the
pizza.
ground.
That's a tough question. I think because I think it would probably look a little bit different for everybody. So I think just
How do you know you're under? Is it just from your change in routine?
yeah, I was just about to say, if you start to have a change in your routine, if you're doing less of something that, if you find yourself like maybe not showering, not shaving.
Your ADLs, people. Your activities of daily living.
There you go.
And that's a sure tell sign that I'm
Right.
having a hard time.
Yeah.
And it's pretty.
And like you talked about before, and we've talked about many times, it can be comfortable. Like, hey, I don't have to shave for 3 days. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, I don't want to fucking shave
Right?
anyway. Nobody wants to look at my ugly face.
So it's like, sometimes that, I'm not going to lie, sometimes that's a bit of an easier lifestyle,
Yeah, I could see that.
But
I could. I could totally
Here,
see that for some.
let me say this
in
and
certain
be the-
aspects.
unpopular opinion. if you
Why
look,
stop now?
if you look at the situation, okay, and you need, and I'm not singling you out at all, but I'm just going to say, if you need like a week off to yourself, you know what I mean? I feel like you might need to reassess your whole situation and look at what's going on, because if you need more than a week, or if you're in therapy and nothing seems to be working, like you need to check some other avenues. Like take a hard look at your life, your career, your whatever, your lifestyle, your habits, and see what's going on. Like, you know what I mean? Because, if you're doing stuff that habits, but those habits seem to be kind of leading the path to other negative habits, it's time to look at them and go, well, if this is leading me to this, and this is where I don't want to be, we have to go to this and cut it out. Shit ain't easy, and it's stuff that we have probably been doing a good chunk of our lives that we may not realize it. But I think that whole assessment of things, I think an daily assessment of yourself is good, but to like sit down, even if you in an interpersonal relationship, if you have a partner in a dating, married, every couple months sit down together. It has nothing to do with any kind of negative anything. It's just like, hey, like where are you at? Where are we at together as a team? You know what I mean? Like, are you cool with everything? You're cool? Yeah. All right. Well, then great. Like, let's plan something cool. And continue to be cool and have fun. And we'll check back with each other in another month.
So most of us don't do that.
Right.
Most of us don't do that.
But again, well, if you have a car,
me included,
you'll do routine. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. I was in that club. I'm in the club, But I'm saying like routine maintenance. Let's go to that. Take your car, your vehicle, whatever you got. Check the oil.
Well, here's one I'm going to throw you. I'm going to throw this curveball at you. Is it easier for us to look at ourselves or look at was what you just said, and I fucking lost the question. God damn it! It'll come back to me. It was about you're like talking about like, and maybe this is something that you've learned now from your experience because. You probably didn't do that.
No,
during
absolutely
it.
not.
Right,
Absolutely
just like we certainly fucking haven't.
Right, it goes back to what we've talked about before with mistakes, and people use the word failure. It's not necessarily failure; it's a mistake. But then you can look at it and go, okay, well, let me refine these things and not define me. You know what I mean? Let's use these mistakes as stepping stones to go. All right, well, what happened here? Where did I go wrong? That didn't work out. That's fine. It doesn't, and don't judge it. Don't put any judgment on it. Like, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It just didn't work out that way. So let's see, if you want the same thing, let's try another avenue, right? How many ways can you get to a place? There's a couple different ways. Take another road. See how that works. You know, this
Wow.
shit ain't easy. I mean,
TPP with the relationship hookup. Da, da, da.
yeah, the divorced single guy. Handing out fucking relationship
Well, then
tips.
it's like.
Well, you do this too.
But
I do a lot of
dude,
self-reflection and insight.
I know a lot
and,
about this stuff.
you know,
My
so-
whole life has been built around this.
I just do a lot of, again, sometimes I can get in the habit of pointing the finger at myself too much, but
What about pointing the finger at other people?
me,
Yeah. You get in the habit of pointing the finger at other people?
I don't think I do. I'm sure I have, absolutely, but I definitely don't make it a habit. No.
Okay.
Why, you think so?
I'm just asking.
Okay.
I'm
Jesus.
asking.
You sound like you got something under your sleeve.
I'm just saying, man.
No,
I'm just asking.
I don't think I do. No, and if I did, I would. Someone can come to me and say it, and I would be like, okay, and either I can explain why I did it, or be like, yeah, you're right, I did do it.
I think that's how we pull others down with us when we're down, though, too, is that we can try to explain our way out of shit, and your explanation still doesn't make it any better.
Really?
Yeah, because you can say I did this because of this, but that still doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day. Because, yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
I wouldn't say it doesn't matter, but it doesn't hold as much.
Won't take away like any hurt, maybe.
No, definitely not.
But at the same time, though, if I was genuine, like, hey, I didn't mean to fucking spill your drink or whatever, some people, if they're having a bad day, like the driving situation,
Sure.
Hey, I honestly didn't mean it, and you took it a little bit more personally than maybe you should have.
Well, that's on the person taking it
Right,
personally.
that's what I'm saying.
I admit, and that is
There's
for sure.
accountability
There's certain,
for both.
yeah, there has to be accountability.
Yeah,
for
no, I
both.
agree, but you're right with the pulling down. I think that there's definitely there's something to that. I don't know about the. If someone, I feel that if someone is going to go out of their way and take the time to explain their reference point or reason behind it, I think that it deserves a listen if they go out of their way to do it, because it shows that they give a shit.
Well, pardon me. I definitely think you should listen. We have to listen. We have to.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's fair.
It's just what you do with that on the other side of hearing it. Because again, like if you're going under and you're taking everybody with you, and I'm not saying that you take everybody with you or whatever when you're under, but you can.
Sure.
And you can without even realizing
Right,
it.
I was gonna
because
say
it's
that.
really about, because this is the thing that I've learned from my experience. Dude, you can wake up every day and not want to be alive, okay? And that feeling carries a lot of air with it. And that air permeates everywhere you are. And that air goes everywhere. And that will affect everything. So you have to understand, too, that yes, you may have an issue and you may be feeling this way, but that's why it's more of your responsibility to get help for things, because it does affect everybody around
I see what
you.
you're saying, right. Yes.
It affects everybody around you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think
Whether it's right now, or it's 20 years down the line, or it's fucking 50 years down the line. Because as we know,
Yeah.
everybody gets affected by everything.
Sure. I mean, I think even in any situation, even if it's something that's going to be positive to your life, there's going to be effect. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
that
nothing's
law.
easy.
Well, no, but I'm just saying it's that law of if you get something, you're going somewhere else, someone's going to lose something, sort of thing. It's that kind of. That's the way I see it. Like, no matter, even if it's something positive for you, there's always going to be a result somewhere else.
Yes.
Of something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
In order for me to heal, I may have to give up, peanut butter cups or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's positive to heal, but you sometimes you may lose something in that process.
Yeah. yourself often.
Oof, that's the worst.
And that's what happens. You lose yourself and you drown.
Right. So do you think that maybe like subconsciously we pull others down because we feel we're drowning and we don't intend to pull them down, but we're like,
how about we don't even know we're drowning sometimes? Because I look, for us, like I recognize, no, I'm lying. Okay, I don't recognize sometimes when I'm starting to drown. I sometimes don't recognize it until I've already, I've already come below surface, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, I know what I'm doing now.
right.
And it's, but
I've been on this bus before.
Yeah. I've had this anchor tied to my leg, fucking pulling me into the depths to find Bruce to chew my ass.
Yeah.
But then it's also like so how do you start to pull yourself back up? How do you take that breath to?
Well, I think that's the important part. Is I'm not sure how, but I think the important part is to stop and take that breath. Like you can't
breathe if you're 2 feet underwater, man.
You
cannot. Like you can't
I don't
take
know.
a breath under there.
You got to somehow fight. I'm not sure. You have to somehow. At least you know what? Maybe you don't need a breath. Maybe you just have to focus on doing whatever it takes to get that breath.
To break the surface.
Yeah. Like forget everything else and just focus on how you're going to get to the surface. Work towards that. Because I think
working to break the surface.
Well, yeah, I think that you don't need to be an expert surfer to ride the wave. You don't need to be an expert swimmer to get to the surface. I think that we all have this kind of.
I'd beg to differ.
I don't know. I think we all have this. I'm saying in a situation
I think
life
situational
or death, like
life or death. Yeah, I think we all find.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
But what happens though? What happens in now life and death? That's crisis. But what happens in the day to day? If you're not in crisis and this is just a normal pattern, like how does that pattern get broken? If
That's again, I'm going to go back to that routine maintenance and kind of like continue your checkups, pull the car in the garage and
yeah, but dude, if you're under fucking 20
saying,
feet of water,
no, I'm
you
saying,
can't.
But I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying to be proactive with it. I'm saying like to do, like when you're feeling good, most people will stop those habits. You know what?
Yeah,
I don't need my medication anymore.
You're right.
I feel good.
You're right.
Well, you feel good because you're on the medication.
You're right.
That's why you feel good.
Right.
So when you stop the medication, you're going to fucking break again. That's what, you know what I mean?
Well,
you're going to fall down the hill.
You're just going to be
whatever.
You're going to be unwell again.
Yes, unwell. That's a better word. But, so I'm saying to start work towards the wellness, okay, if you're wherever you are at. And once you get to a certain spot where you're able to you're able to breathe and you're able to do this or do that, that's when you have to it's strict, but you have to kind of stay on that steady routine of your dailies and check your reassess every morning and you're like, you know what, I'm tired, I'm gonna hit the snooze button. No, fuck the snooze button. You got to get up and you have to meditate for 10 minutes before you start your day. Life sucks sometimes, but you know what, it pays off. Like you don't see these rewards because you're almost like you're kind of feeling better, and some people just have that mindset, well, I should just be happy, right? I shouldn't be miserable all the time. And that within itself is going to create more suffering.
Yeah, it's going to create more misery.
Right.
Misery loves company.
It's like, I hate to say it, but it's like, you got to kind of work for it. It's like wellness ain't free.
I like that. Wellness isn't free. Wellness takes work, people. It takes work.
It does.
And it really does take work. Because again, you're going to get zapped with all the stuff.
But I think that again, I think we put our thoughts on top of that to say, well, geez, I shouldn't have to do this every day to feel good, right? I shouldn't have to do this, or why do I have to do? like those words alone are just going to put another anchor around your,
Well, maybe it's figuring out your why.
Could be, or it could just be like, you know what, I'm like, again, you don't like see like immediate results, but like if you stay to this routine that you're in, these daily practices, and get into the habits of creating some kind of routine maintenance on yourself, whether it's every day or every other day, and do something for you, or like you said, take, if you need like 4 hours to yourself, take the long drive home from work. Hey, everybody, you guys need to like fend for yourselves for 4 hours because I need to listen to a CD and just drive.
Wow.
I mean, it's got to be that serious sometimes because, like you said, when you get that, when you're under the water, is begging, trying to breathe, it can be too late sometimes. So that's how important it is to say, hey, you know what? I need a couple hours tonight. Be like, yeah, you know what? Think about it. What's a couple hours? Fuck it. Do what you need to do because you know what? I want you here tomorrow.
You have to be your own lifeguard.
Sometimes. You have to be your own lifeguard, yeah.
You do. You have to be
or
your own
you at least
lifeguard.
have to be trained as a lifeguard, And that way, when something comes up, you can hopefully handle yourself and enough to not drown.
Wow.
Right? I mean, it's,
Is it really about just not drowning? What happened to just swimming and enjoying the water?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. I mean, look at that's ideal, right?
Well, that's what you want.
Yeah, you want to be able to swim and enjoy the
and
water, and Marco Polo.
Marco.
You want to be able to cliff jump and have fun.
I want to fucking cliff jump, man. I just want to back float home. That's all I want to do.
Will just wants one of those you blow up unicorns.
That's right. I do.
And a Pabst Blue in the thing.
With a fucking cup holder. A cup holder and
floating down the river.
That's it. Lazy river in my ass back to bed.
Hey, but that's the thing. And if that's your thing, then do it. Then that's your thing. And you need to allow time in either your day or your week to do that. Because that's how important, again, that's how important your wellness is,
Without your wellness, you drown, right?
Yeah, I mean, without your wellness, really, think about it.
You don't have anything.
You don't have anything.
No.
Because that $1 million in the bank don't mean shit.
No, doesn't mean anything if you can't spend it.
Right. Those 10,000 followers you have don't mean nothing.
Yeah. Wait, who are you talking about?
Not us, but
Not
I'm
us.
just saying. Some people out there.
Some people out there have 10,000 followers.
We have 10 followers.
Yeah, we have 10. It's all right. They're a hardy bunch, though.
They are hard. But actually, you know what? To be honest, I do want to take a second and thank the people that do follow us and
yeah, we're
engage,
just joking.
Like our posts and
Yannicka, we hear you out there. I know you're out there. I know you're out there.
Yeah, and Nancy, she always shares our
Nancy.
episodes and links. Thank you for anybody who does that stuff because we appreciate it.
Yeah. Yes.
It helps us swim.
It does. It does. Thank you very much. So make sure that, if you're going out in the water, man, make sure you bring your life preserver.
Dun dun. Dun dun.
And beware, because they're everywhere this year. I love it. Gotta get to the ocean. I want to be bitten by a shark.
He wants to swim with Bruce.
I do so bad. Like,
so
literally.
How do you stay above, I guess?
Yeah, how do you stay floating? How do you float? I guess you give yourself to the experience, right? Until it pulls you under.
I don't know.
I like.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, though, I think they're all valid, points that you had said at one point to kind of, I don't remember the word you used, but like let go and just don't fight the water, that resistance. Don't fight the resistance.
Right, be the water. Be like water, my friends.
Yeah, you got to flow with it, and
be like water, my friends.
Be malleable.
Thank you very much for listening to another episode of Above Ground Podcast. Like Timmy said a few minutes ago, we can't thank you enough for everyone who follows us on social media and stuff. We've definitely seen some growth, and 3 years, man, has been, it's been pretty cool to be able to produce this week after week after week after week after week after week after week for everybody. But
share some episodes if you think that somebody can gain something from it.
yeah, and if you got an idea, send it to us, please. Yeah. I'm always, dude, we're open. We're friendly. We don't bite unless you ask. That's all. That's all it is.
AboveGroundPodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. Above Ground Cop. Wow, I can't even say it. Holy shit.
Oh, easy, fella.
I knew I shouldn't have talked about biting.
Now you're talking about biting.
AboveGroundPodcast@gmail.com. Above Ground Pod on Twitter, and Above Ground Podcast everywhere else. Until next week, get well.
Be safe.
Stay
above. Thank you for giving us a listen. New episodes every Wednesday. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, you can share, rate, review, and even subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Other ways to support the show: follow us on social media, share the content, share our episodes. You can also buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/abovegroundpod. For further concerns, show ideas, or just to say hi, you can email us at abovegroundpodcast@gmail. Once again, thank you for listening and supporting mental health. Keep the conversation going and stay above.